Hello and welcome to We Learn. Session 2, Knowledge Management, Pillars of Knowledge Management. Topic will be cover Introduction, Pillars of Knowledge Management, the knowledge challenges, measuring the knowledge management, history of knowledge management. Knowledge architecture, the 4 pillars of knowledge management. Yes, this is basically defining about the pillars of knowledge management. If we were talking about the pillars, the first pillar of knowledge management is a leadership. That means every organization required a leader in it to bring out the proper knowledge and the uses of that proper knowledge. That comes into the leadership part. Then after that leadership, the second kind of a pillar is organization itself. That means how they were actually processing, how they were actually following the proper procedures, what are the workflows, what is the structure of the organization, what is the communication flow of the organization. This all comes into the organization part. Then technology is more related to what kind of technology support they were taking into the consideration, that what kind of tools they were taking, what kind of decision support, what kind of search engine, what is the data warehousing they were using. And yes, at the same time the learning concept, yes, what kind of learning they have, किस तरीके की learnings वो करते हैं. So in that terms, yes, they are the 4 pillars of the knowledge management. As knowledge management always required the outside and the inside environment. That means there is always a certain kind of the environmental influences on the organization. This environmental influences or environment consists of the political influence, the social influence, the governmental influence, or the economic influence. So they have these kind of influences on the business, and through these influences we also need the proper kind of pillars just to bring out the proper management, or just to bring out the proper knowledge utilizations in the organization. And these 4 pillars are leadership, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, टेक्नोलॉजी एंड लर्निंग. सो ये 4 पिलर्स होते हैं जिसके थ्रू एक प्रॉपर नॉलेज मैनेजमेंट ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर लाई जा सकती है, और उसी नॉलेज के बिहाफ पर आगे फर्दर एक ग्रोथ भी जनरेट की जा सकती है. Knowledge challenges. Yes, knowledge is one of the most important assets of an organization. Unfortunately, very few are able to harness this asset in the meaningful way, but even a fewer are the organization that are able to optimize the use of this information assets. In this concept, yes, it is helpful to identify the 2 kind of a knowledge, the core knowledge and enabling knowledge. Yes, at the same time, in today's scenario, or we can say कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन, एवरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन जो है वो नॉलेज मैनेजमेंट को प्रॉपरली जनरेट नहीं कर पाती है. सो इस केस में उसकी जो इम्पोर्टेंट फैक्टर्स हैं, जो उसकी इम्पोर्टेंस हैं, जो एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में होनी चाहिए, वो प्रॉपरली नहीं आ पाती. सो इन दैट केस इट इज़ हेल्पफुल बेसिकली टू अंडरस्टैंड व्हाट काइंड ऑफ नॉलेज. बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी होता है ये समझना कि किस तरीके की नॉलेज वी वर एक्चुअली लुकिंग फॉर. सो in that kind of knowledge, it could be a core and enabling knowledge. या तो वो एक core factor हो सकता है organization का, core knowledge हो सकती है, and at the same time enabling knowledge भी हो सकती है. Knowledge challenges in we were actually study about the core knowledge. अब core knowledge basically क्या होती है? In any organization, certain areas of a knowledge are more important than others. The kind of knowledge that are critical to attainment of the organization goal and the fulfillment of its strategy is called the core knowledge. Because core knowledge is critical to the organization, the management of a core knowledge must be kept within the organization. So it must be developed and neutralized inside the organization. In that terms, it is required to get the understanding of that particular area जो कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में बहुत ज़्यादा एसेंशियल होता है. वी कैन से कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के अंदर हमेशा एक ऐसा एरिया होता है या एक ऐसा डिपार्टमेंट होता है जो कि उसका क्रिटिकल एरिया, दैट मीन्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट, बहुत ज़्यादा इंपॉर्टेंट होता है, और जिसके बलबूते पे ही ऑर्गेनाइजेशन परफॉर्म करती है. सो वो क्रिटिकल एरिया जब तक नॉलेजेबल नहीं होगा या उसके पास वो कोर knowledge नहीं होगी, core knowledge in the understanding of all the environment, understanding of all the concept, why they were performing and what kind of function they were performing, how these activities going to help in the organization's goals attainment, how they actually help in fulfillment of these kind of strategies, तब तक वो एक core knowledge नहीं लेकर आ पाएगा. So that is what, to bring out the proper core knowledge in the organization, it is required to understand that core or a critical area and critical knowledge of that particular area. That comes into the core knowledge. Then enable knowledge. Enable knowledge is basically what core knowledge alone cannot be fully supported in an organization and make it competitive. There is need of a knowledge that can be maintained effectiveness of the organization. Such knowledge can known as enabling knowledge. Again, we can say that this like organization में one is in an area which is very much critical or essential to be performed. उस पर फोकस हो रहा है, बट वो लोनली किसी तरीके से काम नहीं कर सकता इन टर्म्स ऑफ कि आपका जो वो कोर एरिया होता है, दैट कोर एरिया इज बेसिकली वर्किंग ऑन दी कोऑपरेटिव बेसिस. मतलब वो अपनी पूरी ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के साथ एक प्रॉपर कोऑर्डिनेशन और प्रॉपर कोऑपरेशन मेंटेन करके ही परफॉर्म करता है. बिल्कुल सेम इसी तरीके से जैसे कि एक कोर नॉलेज होती है, कोर नॉलेज कभी भी इंडिविजुअली परफॉर्म नहीं हो सकती है, उसके लिए और बहुत सारे फैक्टर्स की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी और नॉलेज की ज़रूरत पड़ेगी जिसको मेंटेन करना चाहिए होगा, जिसके लिए एक इफेक्टिव रिक्वायरमेंट होगी. सो दैट्स कम्स इनटू द एनेबलिंग नॉलेज. वो जो एक्स्ट्रा नॉलेज होती है वो एनेबलिंग नॉलेज होती है. When combining with the core knowledge, such enabling knowledge leads to the development of the new product, process and service. Yes, जब हमारी कोर नॉलेज के साथ अनेबलिंग नॉलेज अटैच होती है तब वो एक नया कॉन्सेप्ट राइज करती है, तब वो एक नए प्रोडक्ट, नए प्रोसेस और नई सर्विसेज को लेकर आती है. दैट कम्स इनटू द एनेबलिंग नॉलेज. सो व्हाट आर द वेरियस चैलेंजेस हु वाज कंसीडर्ड इनटू द नॉलेज पार्ट? The commoditization, environment, complexity, disintermediations, corporate social responsibilities, compressed time cycle, open sources, globalization, regulatory compliances, privacy, shifting the demographic, public health, do more with less. In that terms, these are the various challenges which the organization face, and for all these challenges, or for maintaining these kind of challenges, we require certain kind of knowledge. Then measurement of knowledge. How we can measure the knowledge? One of the most difficult challenge in measuring the result of a knowledge management is the ascertainment of the real value of a knowledge assets in a particular tactic knowledge. Since the tactic knowledge is usually time specified as well as the context specified, the value of the individual knowledge and intellectual capital is most difficult to assess. So often it has only an indirect impact on the organization effectiveness through the creation of the better approaches and a more effective way responses. We can say that just to managing or measuring the knowledge, it is one of the important or we can say important, but yet at the same time very much difficult aspect. We can understand the concepts, we can understand about the time specifications and that कि किस concept में knowledge काम कर रही है, कितना easy concept है, कितना difficult concept है, at the same time कितना time इसको लगेगा. इन सब तरीके की specification करना easy होता है and it can be adopted, but identifying the knowledge or getting the measurement of knowledge is one of the difficult part, because knowledge in its terms it is very much intangible concept. So intangibility की वजह से it is next to impossible to generate the measurement of knowledge. Yes, in general, the most successful way to measure the knowledge sharing is to trace of the flow of knowledge among the employees. The number of an idea generated in the system and the frequency of the assess are easy to measure. So in a similar satisfaction level can be measured through the surveys and feedback mechanism. We can say that एक organization के अंदर it is more हेल्पफुल और मोर सक्सेसफुल. अगर एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन नॉलेज को एक्चुअली मेजर करना चाहती है तो वो किस तरीके से कर सकती है, वो नॉलेज मैन को इस तरीके से जनरेट कर सकती है कि एक इन्फॉर्मेशन किस तरीके से ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में फ्लो हो रही है, एक नॉलेज ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में किस तरीके से फ्लो हो रही है, वो एग्जैक्टली क्या पिक्चर लेकर आ रही है, लोगों को कितना नॉलेजेबल कर रही है, लोगों से कितने आइडियाज़, जो एम्प्लॉयज़ हैं वहाँ पर काम कर रहे हैं उनसे कितने आइडियाज़ जनरेशन हो रही हैं, वो कितना कॉन्ट्रीब्यूट कर रहे हैं. इन सब ऑब्जर्वेशंस के थ्रू वी कम टू नो कि हाँ नॉलेज कितनी है, एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एम्प्लॉयज़ को नॉलेज कितनी है और कितनी नॉलेज नहीं है. दैट्स कम्स इनटू द नॉलेज पार्ट. Then history of knowledge. As we discuss about history of knowledge, it is one of having a three eras. That is, Peter Dicker in 1970 gives something about knowledge management. Carl Ewing, 7 in late 1980s, work on knowledge management. Nonaka and the Tessosi in the 1990s work on the knowledge management. So yes, in the 1970s, the Peter Dicker basically observed the growing importance of information and explicit knowledge as a valuable asset of the organization. In terms of, yes, in 1970, the explicit knowledge is basically comes into a picture, and they were actually performed in that concept. It is basically observed the growing importance of the information, कि किस तरीके से information फ्लो करती है, और उन्होंने एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में ऑब्जर्व करना शुरू किया था कि येस, एक्सप्लिसिट नॉलेज होना बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है इन टर्म्स ऑफ क्या रिपोर्ट्स है एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की, किस तरीके से एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन परफॉर्म करती है, एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के कॉन्सेप्ट कैसे हैं, ये होना ये इस तरीके की अंडरस्टैंडिंग ज़रूरी थी हर एम्प्लॉयज़ के अंदर. द वर्क ऑफ द Peter Sneggy, on the other hand, focusing on the learning organization and emphasize the culture dimensions of a managing knowledge. On the other hand, apart from the Peter Dicker, there were another theorists who actually add on a certain value on the knowledge management. They actually provide that not only the expertise part of the knowledge, एक ऑर्गेनाइजेशन के लिए एक लर्निंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन होना भी बहुत ज़्यादा ज़रूरी होता है. सो इट बेसिकली एम्फोसाइज ऑन द लर्निंग ऑर्गेनाइजेशन की न्यू डायमेंशंस ज़रूरी होते हैं हमारे एम्प्लॉयज़ को अंडरस्टैंड करने में. देन अनदर मैनेजमेंट एक्सपर्ट्स एंड प्रैक्टिशनर्स contributed significantly to the development of the theory of knowledge management and the growth of its practices by examining in their various work and publications the main facts. In that terms, yes, और भी बहुत सारे experts थे जिन्होंने knowledge management के अंदर value add on की, but yes, they will work on the more towards the learning basis or fact basis. In 1980s, classical economic theory does not fully recognize the value of a knowledge. So in that terms, in the mid 1980, the importance of a knowledge as a comparative asset was already well recognized. So in particularly in expansions in the professional competencies. 1980s के मिड में, जैसे कि 1970s में क्लासिकल इकोनॉमिस्ट ने जितनी भी वैल्यूज दी थी वो इतनी यूजफुल नज़र नहीं आई, बट येस मिड 1980s में एक नॉलेज मैनेजमेंट को कंपैरेटिव असेट्स की तरह लेने जाने लगा. दैट मीन्स इट इज़ काइंड ऑफ द कंपैरेटिव असेट जिसके थ्रू एक कंपैरेटिव एडवांटेज अचीव हो सकता है. बट इन लेट 1980s द आइडिया दैट they had developed together with the work done in the artificial intelligence and expert system give rise to such concepts as knowledge acquisition, knowledge engineering, knowledge based system. So these development gives the further drive to the growth of a system of the managing knowledge. In that terms, yes, 1980s में उसी कॉन्सेप्ट्स की मॉडिफिकेशंस करते हुए नॉलेज एक्विजिशन जैसे कॉन्सेप्ट अराइज हुए, नॉलेज इंजीनियरिंग जैसे कॉन्सेप्ट अराइज हुए, नॉलेज बेस्ड सिस्टम जैसे कॉन्सेप्ट अराइज हुए. दैट मीन्स इन्होंने कहीं ना कहीं हेल्प की कि ऑर्गेनाइजेशन में एक प्रॉपर तरीके से कम्युनिकेशंस होती रहें. कम्युनिकेशन में हेल्प करने की रिक्वायरमेंट यहाँ पर जनरेट हुई 1980s. In 1990s, by 1990s, a growing number of academics and consultants had started talking about knowledge management as a new business practice. So in that terms, ये एक new business practice बन चुकी थी scenarios की. And yes, at the same time, a significant number of a large management consulting the firm had begun in-house knowledge management activities. And yes, at the same time, बहुत सारी organization ने in-house activities भी करानी शुरू कर दी थी on the knowledge management activity. By the mid of 1990s, it became widely recognized that competitive edge of some of the world leading companies was for the most part due to the robust knowledge assets of these companies. In terms of yes, 1990s के मिड में भी इस बात को अग्री किया गया कि जितनी भी लार्जर ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस हैं जो मार्केट के अंदर एक प्रॉफिट जनरेट कर रहे हैं, they were actually using the knowledge management as their vital resource. With this realization, the management of a knowledge suddenly becomes the mainstream of the business objective. That's very true. And इन्हीं scenarios के चलते हुए एक जो knowledge management थी वो एक मेन स्ट्रीम में आ गई business objective के. But yes, by the end of 1990s, big organizations started implementing knowledge management solutions. It is basically what the how to handle that kind of an equations or problem arises in the knowledge management. The reason behind is there are certain characteristics of a knowledge management which generate the difficulties level in the organization. So in that terms, knowledge management become a range and comes to be seen as a highly desirable alternative to be failed TQM and the business process re-engineering initiatives. That means जितने भी TQM जैसे concepts के loop holes थे, जितने भी re-engineering जैसे loop holes थे, उन्हें further manage करने के लिए knowledge management solutions generate किया गया. In addition, a number of a professional organization interested in such related areas as a benchmarking, best practice, risk management, change management, being exploiting the relationship between the knowledge management and their areas as specialized experts. Yes, in terms of knowledge management के अंदर और specifications generate हो गई in terms of कि कैसे हम बेंचमार्किंग करेंगे, बेस्ट प्रैक्टिसेस कैसे होंगे, रिस्क मैनेजमेंट कैसे होगी, हाउ वी मेंटेन चेंज मैनेजमेंट, इन सब कॉन्सेप्ट्स को नॉलेज मैनेजमेंट के साथ रिलेट करके एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग जनरेट करने की कोशिश स्टार्ट कर दी गई. सो दैट्स कम्स इनटू द 1990s. So yes, there are now few questions which you have to do it yourself. First is explain the 4 pillars of a knowledge management. Knowledge management के कौन से 4 pillars हैं आपको वो explain करना है. Then discuss the history of knowledge management 1970s, 1980 and 1990 में किस तरीके के changes हैं knowledge management के आपको वो बताना है. And can an organization able to measure the knowledge management, और एक organization नॉलेज मैनेजमेंट को या नॉलेज को मेजर कर सकती है कि नहीं, आपको ये एक्सप्लेन करना है. So this is all about for the today's session. We were winding up here. So yes, thank you so much. Happy learning. We learn.